And it might be the peak of this cycle, that ETH just gets larger than Bitcoin, and then that'll be the peak of the cycle.
Right.
But yes, just because of how these networks are valued, it's actually number of active users, of which ETH has a lot, and it's not the number of transactions, because ETH has a huge amount more transactions, the value of those total transactions. Bitcoin does higher value. But because of the number of applications being built on ETH, it doesn't take long for it to really accrue huge value. Now, some of that changed by the layer 2s, because they kind of batch and only use a small amount of ETH for the settlement layer.
Right.
But those chains are scaling fast, so they do have demand for ETH. So, yeah, look, there's a possibility. But again, I'm indifferent. I don't care. I don't have a dog in that fight.
Right.
Yes, I have investments in the game, and I can change my investments too. But it's just people get really weird around stuff like this. Even Laura Shin got weird about it. She's like, "Oh, you can't say that." I'm like, "Well, does it matter?" Yeah, I tend to be quite a lazy person, so I'm more of an investor. Hold the underlying tokens. I tend not to do too much.
The value of Ethereum hinges on the size of its active user base. More users mean increased demand, contributing to a rise in Ethereum's value. Unlike traditional currencies, the number of transactions alone doesn't directly impact its value. It's the active engagement of users that matters most. What sets Ethereum apart is its extensive ecosystem. Numerous applications are built on its blockchain, ranging from decentralized finance, DeFi, to non-fungible tokens, NFTs. This diversity not only enhances Ethereum's utility, but also attracts a wider audience, thereby bolstering its overall value. Additionally, Ethereum employs Layer 2 solutions to address scalability issues. These solutions optimize transaction processing by grouping them together, known as batching. This scalability is crucial for accommodating the growing demand and maintaining a smooth user experience. In essence, Ethereum's value is intricately tied to its user base, diverse applications, and the efficiency brought about by innovative solutions like Layer 2 scaling.
My thesis is, the more you experiment, the more likely you are to lose money. That doesn't mean people shouldn't, but a lot of people are much better at understanding the risks that they're taking.
Right.
When you're using a DeFi protocol, or you're using this and that. Yes, I buy NFTs. Yes, I use a bit of DeFi here and there, but I'm super cautious. So I haven't really explored the XRP ecosystem. I haven't done it on most chains too much. I've never used Ethereum DeFi because I don't want to. Because I don't want to put my coins outside of my wallet. It's as simple as that for a 5% yield. I have done a little bit more on Solana just because the user experience is so easy versus other things. So yeah, I'm generally a bit of a moron. I just keep it really simple. Look, the Lightning Network hasn't really taken off. So as a payments rail, and we've got very efficient other payments rails, faster, cheaper chains that have been less centralized than the Lightning Network. I think ordinals are interesting because by actually putting the asset on chain, you're creating maybe a super safe storage because you're using the Bitcoin blockchain. Yes, it's inefficient. Yes, it's expensive, but my God, it's safe. Yeah, it's secure. So, okay, that's a really interesting thing, and people are just experimenting with it. So I don't know if it changes a lot, Bitcoin, but the other ecosystems, well, they can adapt and change because just by nature of what they are and how the chains work. Yeah, I'm much more heavily weighted to Solana for this cycle because I saw two big technological breakthroughs. One is these compressed NFTs. You can mint 1 million NFTs for $100. Okay, that's game changing. For what? We don't know. We will find out. But it's not monkey JPEGs. It's going to be something different. The other thing was this fire dancer that can theoretically get to 1 million TPS. I mean, that's a whole game changer. You can put a lot more of the financial system on that.
Right.
So those two things, and then how user-friendly, consumer-facing Solana is, and the strength of the development community, and the fact that it got slaughtered, but everybody was still building, made me think, okay, this is probably the chosen one for this cycle. So other things will outperform, of course, but yeah, that's why I'm just immensely bullish. I also think Anatoly is just a very high quality person, no hubris, talks to people, helps promote the space, is not a promoter, happy to have conversations across different chains with different people. That's what this space should be about. He's a really high quality person.
Asset tokenization leverages the secure infrastructure of the Bitcoin blockchain for storing valuable assets. This involves representing physical assets, like real estate or artwork, as digital tokens on the blockchain. The Bitcoin blockchain ensures that these digital representations are tamper-proof and resistant to unauthorized alterations. Now, when we delve into the adaptability of blockchain ecosystems, it becomes apparent that these systems possess a unique capacity to evolve. The adaptability of blockchain ecosystems stems from their decentralized nature and the consensus mechanisms governing them. Blockchains can adapt and change based on the needs of the users, the technology itself, and the specific characteristics of the chains. For example, Ethereum has undergone several upgrades to enhance its scalability, security, and functionality. These adaptations ensure that the blockchain can meet the evolving demands of its users and developers. In essence, the inherent flexibility of blockchain ecosystems enables them to remain dynamic and responsive to the changing landscape of technology and user requirements.
Listen, I've been at the epicenter of the financial industry, Goldman Sachs, the GLG partners, people won't realize, but that was the largest hedge fund firm in Europe. I kind of knew everything from the inside. I opted out of the rat race and semi-retired, moved to Spain, started my research service, Global Macro Investor, which looked like the world's biggest hedge funds, family offices, that kind of stuff, subscribed to. And I kind of forecast the financial crisis. And then we had the European debt crisis as well, where Europe almost blew up. And at that point, I had to buy a generator and tin food because I thought we were going to lose the banks over the weekend until the ECB forced a bailout on the Spanish. Friends of my parents and friends of friends lost their entire life savings in the banking system. People lost their investments, my dad's retirement account, all of that stuff. And people come to me and say, why didn't we know what was going on? And I'm like, well, I knew, obviously. But I didn't have a platform at the time to help people. Twitter didn't exist. There was no way of communicating at scale with people. So that sat really badly with me for a year, and I thought I need to do something about it. And that's when I decided, okay, what can I do is kind of completely invert the pyramid and give everybody access to the world's smartest people, the best analysts, strategists, the hedge fund managers themselves, and let's share that information in long form. Because before Real Vision existed, long form podcasts didn't exist in finance. We invented the whole thing. Wow. And everybody's kind of copied from then. And that spread by word of mouth. People were like, oh my God, it's like it opened everybody's eyes. So our mission has really been to, up until recently, was to democratize the very best financial intelligence. And it's recently changed because a lot of people are doing that now, which is fantastic. So what we're really doing is we built out this new Real Vision platform is to give people the knowledge, tools, and network for them to succeed. So we arm people with the knowledge, tools, and network for them to succeed in their financial lives. Because as you and I know, the reason we've got to know each other just over Twitter is we're in the same network.
Yep.
Right? We think about the same things. We talk to similar people. We're trying to figure out the world together. So having a network is actually a superpower. But not everybody has the network and reach that you and I have from social media. But Real Vision has created that for people, tens of thousands of people all across the world, 121 countries. And the knowledge is obviously the content itself, the education side, and then the tools are AI, and a whole bunch of other stuff, pricing, charting, all the stuff. So we're trying to create a place where people can take their entire financial journey and start at information, which is where we all start, move that to knowledge, and end up somewhere near wisdom. And if we can do that, we can help a lot of people. As part of that journey was my crypto journey as well. So at the same time that the European banks blew up, I started going around the world trying to start the world's safest bank with a bunch of family offices, some famous guys, and famous hedge fund people as well. And we went all around the world trying to set something up. And what we wanted to do was just hold US treasuries directly with the Fed, i.e. no fractional reserve banking.
Right.
Eventually, the Dallas Fed stopped us and said, this is a great idea, but we're not going to let you do it. And nobody will. I said, why? They said, you'll take all the deposits from the banking system because everything else is fractional reserve banking. And at that point, I was kind of writing Global Macro Investor about the frustrations of this. And a client of mine just said, hey, listen, you need to take a look at Bitcoin. I'd heard about it. Right. So this is 2012. And I wrote the first ever macro strategy piece on how to value Bitcoin in early 2013. And I started investing then, seeing that this was the future of the financial system in a world where there's far too much debt and nobody knows who owns what. And even your bank account is not your money.
Right.
I thought we need something else. And blockchain was the answer.